So the rule of three always is certain as gravity. 100% are guaranteed to get overwhelmed when you're pushing your business this way. Now plan for that. The rule of three says by the time you get from 8 to 15, you have to have a visionary in the organization, you have to have an integrator in the organization, and you have to have a builder in the organization, and you need to be working as one team across your enterprise. So one team, 3 different people, all focused on their area of expertise. You cannot be the integrator and the visionary because you're gonna get overwhelmed, and now what you think is what you say is what you do is not. So you've now presented yourself in a golden opportunity with somebody who could be a critical component to your growth, and you're bitching about something that you just had to deal with. Or you're frustrated with somebody that didn't sign a contract to move forward with you. Those people need to carry the weight of that burden while you're leading and attracting new team members. This is why I do not operate the company, Natalie does. That's our deal. You run the company, I'm gonna be on the stage, I'm gonna be working through the complexity with the business owners, I'm gonna be developing product, I'm gonna be developing resources, I'm gonna be developing strategy. You run it. You hire the people, you fire the people. If I engage somebody and they're the wrong person, and I tell you, wrong person, I don't even wanna know when you got rid of them. I just wanna know they're gone. So when you're trying to be everything to everybody, because the rule of three, you take whatever you've got and divide it by 3. So 100 divided by 3 is what?
34.
And what's 34 divided by 3?
13.
Okay, what's 13
I'm a
divided
lawyer,
by?
Brandon.
What's 13
Don't do this to me. We can't do math.
What's 13 divided by 3?
4.
Okay, you and 3 others. And they have their roles, you have your role, and they're aligned, they're dedicated, they're committed, and they're living by the principles of the organization, your core values, your mission, your vision, your purpose, and you all operate as one unit. That's your single largest leadership test, because you went from being all 3 to now you need to multiply through, and this is why he used the word multiply earlier.
Yes.
And if you don't do that, the weight of the organization statistically and percentage-wise will crush you because you're trying to be everything. Mm-hmm. You cannot be the chief of the fire station who has so many responsibilities and be the lead person on site fighting the fire, because you have different views, and those views will get overwhelmed with the immediacy of the situation, and you make the wrong decision. So your business is the same way. So the rule of three always is certain as gravity. And the rule of three says you take however much volume, and this is if I'm turning a business around, I go in and I find those 3 or 4 people. You've been there, I know we've talked about this.
Totally.
When you see an organization that's significantly in distress, and you go in and the leadership team is blaming their employees, and you interview the top 3 to 5 or 8, depending how big the company is, you interview them, you quickly determine that they're not even on the same page about what the importance is or what the responsibilities are or what the targets are, and yet they're blaming everybody else and they can't even agree.
They're fractured. Yeah, they're just fractured instead of together. You've got to keep those leaders. Now, I say not only on the same page, on the same paragraph, because the page can be different between the top and the bottom. You know what? I also say you're doing exceptional and you've had some very fast growth. And I think, Brandon, you know as well as I do, sometimes when you have fast growth, you have natural plateaus where you have to regather. And a lot of the regathering is there's some people that you had that could go to a certain level, but they can't go to the next level. So you have to make transitions and you have to make changes. But we all plateau. I mean,
well, the break point show that.
Yeah.
Statistically, you plateau at 3 million. 98% of all businesses are stuck at 3 million or less. It's a plateau if you're under 100 million. 8 million is a plateau, 15 million is a plateau, 25 million is a plateau, 45 million, 75 million, 125 million, all the way up to $1 billion. There's natural plateaus that happen in business, and the implication of those plateaus, if you remember the 360, and if you know that growth needs to be platformed. If you had the platform, you would just be following the plan. But there's summits. The summit that you're bumping up against at each of those breakpoints has already been determined. We've told you what they are because statistically it's where everyone says they either break through or they break.
Yeah.
They either slip off the mountain or they climb to the next summit. So you should be thinking about that, and you're trying to make a technical move. So if you remove the emotion out of it, you're trying to go from the top end of breakpoint 2 to the top end of breakpoint 3. Well, what needs to be in place in breakpoint 1? What needed to be in place in breakpoint 2? And what needs to be in place in breakpoint 3? And you should go backwards and revisit all that and make sure that that's all in place. And if it's not, that's why you're struggling. 100% are guaranteed to get overwhelmed when you're pushing your business this way. Now plan for that. The rope's there. There's no reason for you to not grab that rope. It's there. You grab it. You got all these people in this room that are already to the next summit. There's some in this room that have gone from 3 million to 8 million to 30 million to 50 million. Steve Lagamarcino's over there. He'll tell you. You should be talking to the people that are one stretch ahead of you. so you don't get overwhelmed. It doesn't matter if someone's 250 million and you're at 10. Talk to the person that went from 10 to 20 and listen to what they're telling you, and then trust it and strap in real good. It gets slippery.